Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkrupatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshkare Panchakalpatarubhyasya cha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanah Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano State Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Everyone can see the screen, huh? We are going to the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita today. The concluding chapter, perfection of renunciation. So let's start the first verse. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvatam icchami viditam tyagasya cha hrishikesha pratakkeshi nisudhana. Anyone wants to recite?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna uvacha sannyasya mahabaho tattvam icchami veditum tasya tyagasya cha hrishikesha pratakkeshi nisudhana. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Shall I
recite the translation also. I will just move this one. Is it a little bit obstructing or is it okay? The screen is okay? You can see everything?
Yes, Mataji, we can see.
Okay.
Arjuna says, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, sannyasa. O killer of the Keshi demon, master of the senses. Should I read purpose, Mataji?
Yeah, Sudha Mataji, you want to read? I think someone else can also read. No?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Dandat Pranam.
Translation, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Actually, the Bhagavad Gita is finished in 17 chapters. The 18th chapter is a supplementary summarization of the topics discussed before. In every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna stresses that devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life. This same point is summarized in the 18th chapter as the most confidential path of knowledge. In the first 6 chapters, stress was given to devotional service. Yoginam api sarvesham. Of all yogis or transcendentalists, one who always thinks of me within himself is best. In the next 6 chapters, pure devotional service and its nature and activity were discussed. In the third 6 chapters, knowledge, renunciation, the activities of material nature and transcendental nature, and devotional service were described. It was concluded that all acts should be performed in conjunction with the Supreme Lord, represented by the words Om Tat Sat, which indicate Vishnu, the Supreme Person. The third part of Bhagavad Gita has shown that devotional service and nothing else is the ultimate purpose of life. This has been established by citing past acharyas and the Brahma Sutra, the Vedanta Sutra. Certain acharyas certain impersonalists consider themselves to have a monopoly on the knowledge of Vedanta Sutra, but actually the Vedanta Sutra is meant for understanding devotional service, for the Lord himself is the composer of the Vedanta Sutra and he is its knower. That is described in the 15th chapter. In every scripture, every Veda, devotional service is the objective. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. As in the second chapter, a synopsis of the whole subject matter was described. In the 18th chapter also, the summary of all instruction is given. The purpose of life is indicated to be renunciation and attainment of the transcendental position above the three material modes of nature. Arjuna wants to clarify the two distinct subject matters of Bhagavad Gita, namely renunciation, tyaga, and the renounced order of life, sannyasa. Thus, he is asking the meaning of these two words. Two words used in this verse to address the Supreme Lord, Rishikesha and Keshi Nishudana, are significant. Rishikesha is Krishna, the master of all senses, who can always help us attain serenity. Arjuna requests him to summarize everything in such a way that he can remain equipoised. Yet he has some doubts, and doubts are always compared to demons. He therefore addresses Krishna as Keshi Nishudana. Keshi was a most formidable demon and who was killed by the Lord. Now Arjuna is expecting Krishna to kill the demon of doubt. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam.
Thank you so much for reading, Mataji. Thank you. So 18th chapter is actually, as it is mentioned in the purport, beginning of this purport, that 18th chapter is actually summarizing the whole Bhagavad Gita like that. 18, all 17 chapters, by the time Bhagavad Gita citation is finished. Now, this 18th chapter is concluding chapter, summarizing topics discussed before. So each topic, little sections of what we have been discussed, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all that is again further summarized, condensed like that. So Krishna, initially in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna stresses that, the goal of our life is to perform devotional service, which is Samsiddhi Haritoshanam is there. The same point is summarized in the entire 18th chapter. And, through the understanding this confidential path of knowledge, so we understand from the second chapter the subject matter of difference between the body and the soul, like that. So that is described in 18th chapter is further instructions, summaries given by Krishna. So it begins with like what is concluded in the 6 chapters, what is concluded in 7 to 12 chapters, and then what is further concluded from 13th till 18 chapters, like that. So first 6 chapters was dutifully they were in everything is dutifully performed, then detachment of work brings into the reactions, all that is started. So goal of understanding renunciation and what is renounced order of life. So Arjuna had end of 17th chapter, there is a doubt coming in the heart of Arjuna, mind of Arjuna, doubting Arjuna. He is asking Supreme Lord about the meaning of these two words, which is sannyasa and then the renounce order of life. The two things. What is the difference between a purpose of renunciation, a tyaga, and then what is the renounce order of life, sannyasa. So tyaga and sannyasa, these things needs to be understood. He has a little bit of doubt about these two. So like that is asking the meaning. So when we know about the tyaga, we have sannyasa, we have been heard about these verses in the 5th chapter and then also in the 9th chapter. If I can show you what is that. Okay, 5th chapter, what Krishna said, Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasaste Sukam Vasi Navadvare Puri Dehi Naive Kurvanna Karya. So what is it, when the embodied body controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, neither working nor causing work to be done. So there are different ways of, he has mentioned about sannyasis, and then here in this 9th verse also, 9th chapter 28th verse also, he says sannyasa yoga yuktatma, he says. So here it is also, he is also mentioning that someone who is freed from bondage of work, all in auspicious and inauspicious results, and then mind is fixed on me. That is the principle of renunciation. So you will be liberated and you will come to me. So like that he said. So Arjuna wanted to reconcile. He wants to understand. And then again, in regards to the Tyaga also, this is Tyaga is someone wants to perform certain activities, but at the same time they are detached from those activities, results of those activities. So, Takta Karma Phalam Sangam is there, in the 4th chapter. Krishna described in 20th verse like that. And then Sarva Karma Phalam Tyagam, he said in 12th chapter also, like that. So give up all the results. You do only work, but you do with great detachment, like that. So with great attention is there, but detachment to the work is always there. So work in a detached mode is there. So Arjuna had got a little bit of doubt. He wanted to reconcile these two. The meaning of this, Lord cannot give a contradictory things like that. He cannot teach like contradictory things like that. He wants to understand that do these words completely different meanings, or whether when you see the trees and then you see the stones, or do they something meaning like that, whether they are the same or different. Do they have similar meanings, like for example, Pandavas and Kurus, if they talk, are they similar or different? Like that. So, are they completely different? He wanted to know the different natures of this. He's asking these two alternatively words are used, or is it something different? I want to know. So, this is a doubt arising in the mind of Arjuna, and he wanted to understand that uttering these words is what is it, So he's wanting to know the distinction. So that is why he's asking this question. Arjuna is asking, "Oh mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of this renunciation." Yeah. So Tyaga and also the renunciation. That is sannyasa. So and he is addressing here Krishna as okay. See the KC demon. That what is the word? What is the particular name? He said KC demon, master of this. Rishikesha he mentioned. He also mentioned about KC Nishudana, someone who killed the demon KC. So this demon is just like how we have the demon in our mind, like that. So demon of doubt, like that. Arjuna is expecting Krishna because he's already referred to as like KC killed a demon, like that, and then so he's asking to kill this kind of doubt of demon is existing in my heart or mind. You are appropriate. You are the only one who can get rid of this doubt, or you can only address this, like that. So he's asking, he's a controller of senses also, Rishikesha, and then killer of the KC. So he's glorifying Krishna like that. So he desired to understand the difference between sannyasa and tyagi. So in this, what is that initially mentioned, the first verse, first purport, main emphasis is given on the chapter of Bhagavad Gita where devotional services bhakti is emphasized. Yeah, Supreme Personality of the God is the goal, ultimate goal of this human form of life. So in first 6 chapters, it is described about all about Karma Yoga. And then the middle 6 chapters described about Bhakti Yoga. And then that is completely performing devotional service. Yeah? Stresses given to devotional service in first 6 chapters, concluding with Yoginamapi Sarvesho. So like that, of all the yogis, he is the one who always thinks of me and who is within himself, and thinks of me within himself is the best, like that. So who is always constantly meditating. That last verse on the 6th chapter, Krishna declares there. So pure, and then he takes to the pure devotional service aspect from there. So then the activities and the nature of devotional service is further described in the next 6 chapters, that is 7 to 12, like that. And then the last 6 chapters discussed about the Jnana section of that. So the middle section is the important section where most confidential knowledge is shared and devotional aspect is shared. And then later in other chapters about renunciation, activities of material nature, transcendental nature, all that is been described. So now he is asking that, who Supreme Lord, now I understand this devotional service is the ultimate purpose of this life. But by establishing that, what is this that, the difference between sannyasa and the tyaga. So sannyasis are someone, they are completely aloof from this materialistic world. But when it comes to tyagis, they're actually in this material world, connected to this material nature, acting under the modes of under the conditioned three modes of material nature, but still what they are doing is at the same time they are acting, but they are not expecting any result. So what is the difference between these two, like that? So when we understood in the 6th chapter that the subject matter of that difference between body and spirit, like that, in the 18th chapter now summarizes whatever instructions are given by Krishna. So the purpose of life is indicated as renunciation and attainment of that transcendental position, that is the Suddha Sattva state, which is beyond these three modes of material nature, is what is important. So he is asking the distinction between renunciation and renunciation. So are these meanings are two meanings of these two words are same or different? So we'll hear from in the future verses about these differences, but Arjuna is requesting in this verse to summarize everything. Like to start with this summary of this Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is putting another question to Arjuna. For all of us also, let's say if something is some discussion is done, some key points have been shared as a summary for us to remember. So like that, Arjuna is in our as a representative of in our position, is asking Krishna to make us understand these two different concepts, so that the doubts will be gone. So the doubt coming to Arjuna can come to all of us also. So that's the reason he's asking this question to summarize everything so that he can remain equipoised. You don't need to really stress about too much about all this and get anxiety or disturbed like that. So he wants to be in an equipoised situation like that. So we all have to be in understanding this is important for us, so that someone who is desiring for liberation, and someone who is actually in this material world and not being attached to what he's doing. So desiring for liberation of sannyasis, but then someone seems to be detached from all these results of their work, but they are there. Sarva karma fala tyagis are there. So like that, give up all the result of the work they have been doing with great attention. They are doing the work, but giving up the results of that. So what is this tyagis? And wanting to know the distinction, like that Arjuna is asking in this verse. So let's go to the second one. Hope that is all clear. It's just a question asked by Arjuna in that. We'll go to the second. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kamyayam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavyo Vidhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prabhustyagam Vichakshashna. Anyone wants to recite Krishna Murti Prabhu or Navakeshwari Mataji?
May Mataji.
You want to recite Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Viduho Sarva Karma Palatyagam Prahustyagam Vichakshanaha. Shall I read translation, yes. Mataji?
Yeah.
Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyasa. And giving up the results of all activities is what the wise are called renunciation, tyaga. May I read purport, Mataji?
Any other Navakeshwari Mataji you want to recite? Read the purport.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dandat Pranam, Mataji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The performance of activities for results has to be given up. This is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, but activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge are not to be given up. This will be made clear in the next verses. In the Vedic literature, there are many prescriptions of methods for performing sacrifice for some particular purpose. There are certain sacrifices to perform to attain a good son or to attain elevation to the higher planets, but sacrifices prompted by desires should be stopped. However, sacrifice for the purification of one's heart or for advancement in the spiritual science should not be given up. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat.
So here when Krishna, I mean, Arjuna is asking, Krishna is now answering questions given like that. So discussions in the message from this is that of performance of the activities for results has to be given up. That is for sure. Example, sacrifices you attain to get some good sun, or reach the higher planets, something like that. And then activities for advancing in spiritual life should not be given up. So, for example, sacrifices you perform for your own purification, like that. Yeah. So sannyasas, there is it's a sannyasa is something, a term referring to a particular ashram. So that means they are completely renouncing from all the kamya karmas, that is the whatever activities for fulfilling particular personal desires, like reaching to the heavenly planet, or getting a good son, or getting accumulating wealth, or getting good job and things like that. They are not bothered actually. Yeah. So kamya karma actions, they are not at all interested. So they are not interested in that, and they perform actually always nitya karmas. Nitya karmas means the daily obligatory activities are there according to the scripture. They do, like someone who is Brahman initiated, they do Gayatri 3 times. They every day they get up Brahma Muhurta and chant Mahamantra. Not limited to only 16 rounds. They can chant as many as possible, but minimum 16 is compulsory. But they do in Brahma Muhurta, not any time during the day, like that. And then they attend Mangalarti. They go through the whole morning program which Prabhupada has prescribed. Compulsory, they do all that, and they also go out and preach. They dedicate their life to Krishna only. They have nothing else other than serving Krishna. So this is the position of a sannyasi in that ashram. They are renouncing karma, kamya karmas, but in that ashram they perform nitya karmas, like that. Yeah. And then a tyagi, someone who is tyaga means, like they are renouncing the results of the activities. Whether they are emotional or monetary or physical, whatever, their result, all that, activity, the results of those activities, whatever they are performing, they are renouncing that, and they are in the way they are uninvolved in that activity. They're in that activity, but they're not expecting the results. Detached way, they are working. This can be done in Gruhastha ashram. So people who are in family life, they are all performing various activities throughout the day, and each and every activity bind them to some results, some expectation. But that expectation, if it is given up, it is as good as you are in sannyasi ashram only, because in being in that grihastha ashram, you are able to detach from those aspects of results of those activities which you are performing. It is actually a bit harder, but in the same mood you are in, like that. But you are in a grihastha ashram, like that. Yeah? So a sannyasi gives up kamya karmas and performs nitya karmas, and a tyagi performs all kamya karmas and nitya karmas, but without seeking any results. So acting for results should be given up, but acting leading to advancement in spiritual knowledge, for purification and to attain liberation, should not be given up. So that is important. So, and in understanding further, if you want to know that there is nitya karmas, are, like I said, duties which are obligatory duties for us to do in our day-to-day life. So that there's chanting japa, offering bhoga to the Lord, only eat Krishna prasad, like that, and then chanting our people who have second initiated do Gayatri and all, and then they do other activities, whatever they're supposed to, that they do. And there are something called naimittika karma is there. That is there occasionally they do certain obligatory activities. So that occasionally activities are, for example, some wife and husband is married, but before there are certain regulatory aspects they do, like according to the samskaras they do, performing various samskaras, basically, like this. So initially, just desiring to have a children, they go through Garbhodana samskara. And then after that, Srimantanayanam is there. When you are really conceived, then that particular samskara is there. After child is born, there is a jata karma you perform. After that, there is Annaprasna is there. And after that, you have like, what else will come? After Annaprasna, we have got Mundan ceremony. Before that only you'll get a Mundan ceremony, or after, after 6 Annaprasna will have Mundan ceremony, Then after that you will have, Vidyaramba or Vidyabhyasa, like that. So each step there is something to perform. Like after that you will do like, someone is while starting studies, there is Upanayana ceremony is there. So there are so many, but these are all obligatory things that they do. And then there is Kamya Karma, means that is rites done to attain specific desired results. Like that, they may do certain yajnas, or some other penances or austerities to go to heavenly planet or to get good son. All that is Kamya Karmas, like I discussed before. And there is something called, Prayaschitta Karma is there. That means they do certain rites exceptionally to do some atonement of their sins. So they do like some kind of ratas they do, or some kind of yoga, yajnas they may do, or some kind of, performing something and feeding some people so that that particular sin is gone. So this kind of. There is another karma called Nishada Karma. That is, that is something you do, forbidden action you would have done, which is very abominable and sinful. Like, extreme as case, it is killing someone, or, breaking the 4 regulatory principles, like drinking, or meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, all this, So this is some other things, forbidden action. So these are all certain things where, classified has Kamya Karmas, but it is no need to too much worry about all that. But understand is that the sannyasis, they don't involve in all these Kamya Karmas. They perform only Nitya Karmas. So that means they give up Kamya Karmas, all this, whatever I have described so far. Only do those activities which are keeping them, keeping Krishna in the center, and keeping Krishna satisfied, or pleasing Krishna, or, only performing something for their purification and for their advancement in spiritual life, and at the same time uplifting others. All the, all the conditioned souls, they are also helping them to get liberated, like that. So, then a tyagi is someone who performs these all the karmas which I said. At the same time, they also perform nitya karmas, but they do without any expecting results. So the acting for results should be given up. They are giving up that acting for results has been given up for them. So we have to understand in both the aspects is that anything, all the activities leading to the spiritual advancement or gaining spiritual knowledge, or for purification or for liberation, should not be given up. So like that. So is it clear? Or do you want me to explain in more detail?
Can you just summarize, Mataji? This.
Yeah, so summarize. Yeah. Anyone understood to say, or summarizing is that a sannyasi versus tyaga, in simple to understand, a sannyasi is one who gives up kamya karmas. You understood what is kamya karma, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so someone who gives up kamya karma and performs only nitya karma. Yeah, nitya karma means they are daily prescribed duties as per the scriptures. They perform that. Like I said, getting up in the morning in the Brahma Muhurta and chanting and performing all the obligatory things. Like if someone is second initiation, they should do the Gayatri, taking shower 3 times and doing Gayatri. And then only taking Krishna Prasad, nothing else. And then participating in whole morning program. Are you able to hear, Prabhu? Some disturbance is coming somewhere.
Muted, Mataji, you can proceed.
Yeah. So like that. And then the next the tyagis are someone who are actually, performing all kama karmas and nitya karmas also, but without expecting any results. Is it clear, Prabhu?
Yes, smart. Yes.
Yeah.
Clear.
So
Very much.
Mother, it is Nitya Karma means doing obligatory duties, chanting in Brahma Murta and all that is comes in Nitya Karma.
yeah. They're all nitya karma activities which we are
And the
supposed to
ashrams.
do as per the
No.
prescriptions given by scriptures, like according to us what Srila Prabhupada has given us, following 4 regulative principles, chanting minimum 16 rounds and eating only Krishna prasad.
So all that is done by sannyasis.
Yeah, definitely. But we may chant any time of the day, but they don't do like that. But we are also supposed to chant in the morning, first thing in Brahma Muhurta, which is the best thing to do. If you do like that, you are, like I said, being in a Grihastha ashram, you are a sannyasi. Yeah. If you are able to do it. But that's what is the best thing to do.
Yes, Mataji.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are tyagis, means we perform kama karmas and also nitya karmas, but we don't attach to the result. Yeah. In both the cases, activities leading to the advancement in spiritual knowledge should continue. Purification of our heart, whatever is helping us to liberate from this, material world, that should not be given up. Yeah.
Mataji?
Yes.
Mataji, you said that Kamya Karma is performing our karmas and Nitya Karmas. That means our daily activities which are given by the scriptures. And our Swadharma, this bodily Swadharma, what acting as a wife, mother, that too, you're telling Mataji, that too.
Yeah. Kamya karmas are everything which is in particular to fulfilling our personal desires.
Okay, Mataji, okay.
Yeah, so right from not having children or getting children, and then after that with children, so many other entanglements are there. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji, thank you much.
Yeah. So basically giving up all fruitive activities. That is one thing. So you should never, something which is like, not giving up falsely, but doing everything in a detached way. Yeah.
So one thing, there be now Nitya Karma, then Kamya Karma. That's all. Only 2 karma. What's the other? The third one is Dharma. What is that?
There are many other classifications are there. The 2 things mainly is these 2 are very important things.
Okay.
But other classifications are, like I said, Naimittika karmas are occasionally performed obligatory duties. Like I said, Garbhodana samskara, Srimantanayanam and all that samskaras we do for the children. Vidyabhyasa and then Mundan ceremony and grains, first grains.
All that comes under? Yeah.
These all
So that comes
kama
under which
karmas
karma?
only. They're all kama karmas
Okay.
only, but there are obligatory duties done once off, not regularly happening.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Mother. Thank you.
And there are certain, there's certain karmas which we do to, get better results, reach higher planets or, get rid of some health issues, or if you don't have, putra kamesti yajna is there. If you don't have a son, you do that. So those kind of things that are all kama karmas. Yeah. And there are certain karmas which you do to get rid of your sins, like atonement. Yeah, atonement of sins. So you do certain vratas to get rid of that. These are rites exceptionally done to get rid of sins. That prayaschitta karmas they are. And there are other karmas which you do.
In that one, what you do for that Mataji first?
There are certain vratas specifically are there. They do. This is all karma kandic things. No, don't need to worry about all that. But this is all there. So these people who are classified as tyagis may do those kind of activities on an ongoing basis. You may see outside many people like that. But the thing is that they are doing it. The instruction here is that when you do those activities, we should be in a mood that we are not expecting anything in result. But these are activities where we don't do without expecting any result, right?
Yes.
But if you are there in a situation to do like that, then you are actually as good as sannyasa, because you are in a gruhastha ashram entangled with doing so many obligatory duties, but at the same time not expecting anything in result. So detached way you are working, that is what is important. Yeah. So if that is there, then you are as good as sannyasa.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
If next verse it will be more clear if you hear. So, but yeah, there are two types of tyagas. Tyaga is also there. Give up all fruitive activities, faultily you do, and then like that. But then you never give up also. Certain charities, austerities, sacrifices like that, which as prescribed by the Vedas. But both we have to understand. For example, if there is a sacrifice which is meant to animal sacrifice is there. Someone may object, oh, animal sacrifice, if you do, the animal will be, you're giving, creating some kind of, they may undergo a lot of pain, and why are you doing like that? And other people may say that, why it's good that, the animal who is being sacrificed is getting a new human body. So it's good in that process is giving like that. So there is some kind of possibility of violence is there in that sacrifice, but it is prescribed according to the Vedas. So different, the austerities and sacrifices, if it go in detail, they're different. So don't get confused. It's just to understand that sannyasas will give up kamya karmas and perform only the nitya karmas, which are leading them to advance in spiritual life. And tyagis are someone who performs kamya karmas and also nitya karmas, but without seeking results. Okay. We'll go to next one.
Mataji, one thing about sacrifice. Other than this animal sacrifice, what do they do for this sacrifice?
Other than animal sacrifice, what do they do? They may do like certain sacrifices to, for their good health. They do, but there are certain sacrifices which some people do to get some wealth.
No, Mataji, yes, but what do they do in the sacrifice? That's what I want to know.
What
like
do
they
they
cut
do?
Yeah, other than the animal cutting, what else do they do? What do they do normally for the sacrifice? What action do they do? What activity?
Not this one you're asking. Any other sacrifices you're asking?
Yes.
See, for example, in that I see in my family where someone will do this Satyanarayana Vrat. They do. Yeah. So this is some kind of thing they do. And then some people will do some yoga. Chandi Yajna is there. I don't know what is it. They do that kind of, Chandi Yaga they do. So these are all, to pleasing other
demigods.
Demigods, yeah. Mainly they are doing that. It's a karma kandic process only.
Yeah. Process, yeah.
All these charities, yajnas, tapasyas, they're all leading to karma kandi process. Something in expectation is happening, actually. Yeah. But we should be mindful that if someone is mindful of not expecting anything and able to perform, they are tyagis like that. Yeah. So shall we go to the next? Once we understand further, then we'll get out of this confusion. Yeah. Anyone wants to recite this one? Third one.
Can I read?
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah.
Tyajam
Tyajam
doshapadi karma prahurminishinaha yajnadana tapa karma na tyajamiti ta chapare. Translation. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned.
Yeah.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are many activities in the Vedic literature which are subjects of contention. For instance, it is said that an animal can be killed in a sacrifice, yet some maintain that animal killing is completely abominable. Although animal killing abominable. Although animal
abominable.
Abominable. Okay. Although animal killing in a sacrifice is recommended in the Vedic literature, the animal is not considered to the killed. The sacrifice is to give a new life to that animal. Sometimes the animal is given a new animal life after being killed in the sacrifice, and sometimes the animal is promoted immediately to the human form of life. But there are different opinions among the sages. Some say that animal killing should always be avoided, and others say that for a specific sacrifice it is good. All these different opinions on sacrificial activity are now being clarified by the Lord himself.
Yeah, so this part I already discussed with you. So that next part, what is this differences of opinion we see here? Some says it is okay, some don't consider it killing only, some consider it is animal is getting a new life after being killed in these sacrifices. So what is this differences of opinion according to different sages like that? Krishna is going to clarify further in the next. We'll go to next.
Mataji, one small question. Yes. These people, in sacrifice this for Eid and all that, Hajj and all that, when they kill these animals, do they also get a human life? The goats and all that when they kill? That's like a sacrifice.
See, when they consider this animals should be considered as oldest animals only they take for sacrifice, not the animals having in full youth, So someone who is, some animal who is struggling or, in a almost closer to in their, lifespan like that, not a fully, healthy animal as such. Yeah, but they have a certain criteria to get to the human form of life. So that generally what I heard or hear is that this only that, animals who are little bit old, not completely, so not a infant animals or like that,
Yeah, okay.
They will get a human form for sure because the sacrifice is meant for them is that only.
Yeah. Okay,
but it is prescribed in the Vedas. But if you do for sense gratificatory with that name on, you will like, there is one of the offenses also we have, on the name of the chanting we don't, do some sins, right? Just to chant and do sins. It's like that, you kill this animal for your sense gratificatory process. That is not giving them life actually. You're misusing that.
They do it for sense gratification.
Yeah, they are for their own pleasure of eating meat. They must be doing it with taking it for granted. That's not allowed. Yeah, so we'll go to the fourth. You want to recite this fourth one, Mataji?
Okay, I'll recite. Nishchayam sunu me satra tyage bharata satama त्यागो हि पुरुष व्याघ्र त्रिविद्या संप्रकृतिथा Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O best of Bharatas, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. I'll read the purport also.
Yes,
although there are differences of opinion about renunciation, here the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, gives his judgment, which should be taken as final. After all, the Vedas are different laws given by the Lord. Hence, the Lord is personally present, and his word should be taken as final.
Yeah,
that the process of renunciation will be considered in terms of the modes of material nature in which it is performed.
Yeah. Okay. So there are three kinds of renunciation based on three modes of material nature. Krishna will describe in further future verses about those in from 7th verse onwards. But Krishna is giving his opinion here. Although there are differences of opinion about renunciation, but Krishna is telling here my judgment about renunciation. And he's telling Arjuna, is referring here as tiger of Mount Man. Renunciation is declared in the scriptures 3 times. Yeah? So Lord's opinion is that above all Vedas, after all, the Vedas are different laws given by the Lord only, Lord by himself, but his words should be taken as final. His judgments are final, like that. Yeah. So there are different laws given by the Lord, and Lord is personally present, and his word should be taken final. And then Lord is saying that this process of renunciation is considered in terms of 3 modes of development. Like that. So we'll go to the next one. Who wants to recite? Anyone wants to recite? I don't see any raising hand. Yajnadana tapa karma natyajam karyam evatat yajnodhanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam.
May Mataji?
Yes, please recite.
Yajnadana tapah karma natyajam karma eva tat yajnodana tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Shall I read?
Yeah, translation.
Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. Shall I read purport, Mataji?
Yeah. Anyone wants to read, or otherwise you can proceed?
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, please. Yeah. You can see, Mataji? You reading, Mataji?
I'm reading, Mataji.
We can't hear actually.
Sorry, again I'll read, Mataji.
Yeah.
The yogis should perform acts for the advancement of human society. There are many
purificatory
process for advancing a human being to spiritual life. The marriage ceremony, for example, is considered to be one of these sacrifices. It is called Vivaha Yajna. Vivaha Yajna. Should a sannyasi who is in the renounced order of life and who has given up his family relations encourage the marriage ceremony? The Lord says here that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. Vivaha Yajna, the marriage ceremony, is meant to regulate the human mind so that it may become peaceful for spiritual advancement. For most men, this Vivaha Yajna should be encouraged even by persons in the renounced order of life. Sannyasis should never associate with women, but that does not mean that one who is in the lower stages of life, a young man, should not accept a wife in the marriage ceremony. All prescribed sacrifices are meant for achieving the Supreme Lord. Therefore, in the lower stages, they should not be given up. Similarly, charity is for the purification of the heart. If charity is given to suitable persons, as described previously, it leads one to advanced spiritual life. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. So here it is telling that, acts of sacrifice, charity, austerity, penance, they are all has to not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, this sacrifice, charity, penance, they purify someone, even the great souls also, they purify. This process will purify. That is Krishna's opinion. So Krishna is discussing in this purport, giving the suggestion in this purport that the yogis to the advanced souls to the sannyasis is that they must perform any activity which is helping them for advancement in this human society, in this human form of life, in the human society, like that. So is also mentioned certain examples of purificatory process, like that Vivaha Yajna is there. Purpose is to regulate the human mind so that they become peaceful, and then they go for spiritual advancement, like that. It is important for man and woman. Otherwise, nowadays, what do you see? There's lots of living relationships in this world where I am, other side of the world. I don't know how many of you are in India or in other countries, but the place where I am in, it is common. People will have that living relationships, and they are afraid of going into marriage. Actually, even if they go,
Everywhere,
they will
Mataji.
not stay. Sorry.
This happening everywhere, Mataji, everywhere.
Yeah, I know. So if
All
they
over.
go, also
It's
they
become
don't
very
stay
common.
long. It's common, yeah. But
Yeah.
at least in India, some fear is there, family is there, this, there, that, there, like that, Or I don't know how it has been deteriorating over a period of time. Everywhere it is
India
same,
also
like
it's happening, Mataji.
happening, yeah. So people are also getting affected. Even people, old generation people also, with the outward, with this, the what do you call that? Watching movies or television, or everything is impacting everyone, and they're all changing their lifestyle. Actually, they're not there like how they were in 10 years, 20 years ago. Then the generation totally changed. In fact, nowadays, little older generation people are also doing all sorts of things which you feel really weird. Yeah. So like that, the system is there. If this system is not accepted, then you see some kind of disturbance to this society. So to be peaceful in this human society, this ceremony is there to regulate. And then in Grihastha ashram, one of the ashrams is there beautifully, according to Srila, Shastra, we have the Varnashram Dharma is there, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, I mean like that, order of this, the social order is there, and then Varnashrama is there. So we have Brahmanas, and we have, Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas, and sannyasis, and we have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, like that. So Krishna described in detail in Bhagavad Gita, right? So that, we should discharge. We should never, our attitude to all this should be that, to fix our mind properly, like that. And then for the most men, this Vivaha Yajna is encouraged. So, so like, even if you are in a renounced order of life, like earlier I said, though being in Grihastha ashram, you can practice renounced order of life, like that you perform, but the detached way. So then, you will practice it. So sannyasis, if they are there in that state, in that particular ashram, they should never associate with women. And that doesn't mean that the other ashrams, they're treating it in low level, like it's not that if someone is accepting a wife or marrying, they are in lower stages of life. Even in that, this is the beautiful thing which we see in Grihasthas ashram. There's so many, 99% of Krishna conscious movement is supported by Grihasthas only. Even when Srila Prabhupada first started the movement, he actually glorified the Grihasthas, because in the Grihastha ashram only they established the temples. They worked hard to build temples and make money to raise money to maintain temples, everything. So Srila Prabhupada really appreciated Grihasthas practicing like that and maintaining the temples and following his instructions, like that. So these prescribed sacrifices are all there to achieve Supreme Lord's mercy, means to please him only. So all these things should not be given up, but like that, charity is also purification of the heart. Charity to suitable persons according to the time, place, circumstance should be given. So that will also lead to the advanced spiritual life, like that. So everything is there. It's all for our purification. For example, charity is given to give suitable persons. In the example of that yajnas, I said marriage, he's suggesting, Krishna is suggesting. So like that. So for ordinary people like us, these things are recommended by Krishna. So in future verses, it will be more clear, because this chapter is big and gives complete detailed summary. We'll just go through the sixth one now. एतानि अपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कृत्येयानिति मे पार्थ कृतवेयान्ति मे पार्थ निश्चितम् आत्मा उत्तमम्. Who wants to recite?
Hare Krishna. Can I read?
Yes, please.
एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम्.
Thank you, Prabhu.
The translation. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Partha. That is my final opinion. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although all sacrifices are purifying, one should not expect any result by such performances. In other words, all sacrifices which are meant for material advancement in life should be given up. But sacrifices that purity one's existence and elevate one to the spiritual plane should not be stopped. Everything that leads to Krishna consciousness must be encouraged. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is said that any activity which leads to devotional service to the Lord should be accepted. That is the highest criterion of religion. A devotee of the Lord should accept any kind of work, sacrifice, or charity which will help him in the discharge of devotional service to the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, in the translation says, no, all that activity should be performed without attachment or any expectation of the result. So, and then Krishna is telling to Arjuna that they should be performed as a matter of duty only. That is what it is. His final opinion is just only as a matter of duty. So what is the attitude of a performer who is doing sacrifice, who is doing charity, who is doing penance? What is that mood they are having? What should be the attitude while performing? What should be the mood? And without attachment or any expectation of the result is the mood and the attitude, and only as a matter of duty. So mood is matter of duty, and attitude should be without attachment of any expectation of the result. So for that purpose only one has to do this purification of one's existence, like that Krishna is advising, or the final opinion he is giving. So without attachment or any expectation of the result. Example of what should be given up. All sacrifices are meant for material advancement, definitely. And life, then what it should be given up, since what happens when you do these sacrifices to get something out of it? You will be binded, right? You will be entangled. So then there's no purification. The sacrifices are meant to purify yourself, to elevate yourself to the spiritual planet. But if you doing these sacrifices and expecting something, you are entangled. So you will not be liberated. You will be continuously going in this vicious cycle of, birth, death, old age, disease. You will take another, have 8.4 million species. On that, 8 million species are only other living entities. Only 4 million is human being. You're wasting your time. So like that, everything leading to Krishna consciousness should be encouraged. Like that, Krishna is telling there. So purpose only matter of the duty, and the purpose of the purification of one's existence should be whatever is there in Krishna consciousness. If it is leading you to further progress in Krishna consciousness, do it. So like that. So what is that we have in Srimad Bhagavatam? The activity which leads to devotional service should be accepted. So that is the highest criteria of religion. We have in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 6, the famous verse we have, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma. So that is what, Ahetuki Apratiyata Yayatma Suprasidata. So that is whatever you do, devotional service, it should be unmotivated, uninterrupted. So that should be done like that. So that's the highest criteria. So Ato Bhakti Radhokshaja Ahetuki Apratiyata Yayatma Suprasidata. So devotee should accept any kind of work, any kind of sacrifice, any kind of charity, but that should be helpful to them to discharge a devotional service to the Lord. So anything leading to service to the Lord can be done in that, either sacrificing or charity or or finances. Like for example, you do, and a special Purushottam month is coming, you may set up certain special vow you can take, and then you act upon it. That is good. You're discharging devotional service there. So there is, you're doing certain sacrifice. Okay, what sacrifice you're doing? Maybe you're doing certain fasting on that day. You can do that. That's a sacrifice. Charity. Okay, you want to feed certain, brahmacharis, or give some nice donation to the temple. This can be done. So this is scantifying. So whatever activity you're doing, it should scantify that. Either you are cooking bhoga and distributing that, or you are giving some Lakshmi to someone to distribute books. So these are all will help you in charity, in sacrifice. This can be done. So rather than involving in other material sacrifices where you expect something out of it and then you get entangled, better you do those sacrifices which helps you to purify. And then the results will be advancing in further in devotional life, and discharge the devotional service to the Lord, where you are unmotivatedly, uninterruptedly. No ulterior motives are there. That is good to do. That is encouraged. That Lord will accept that kind of service or that kind of attitude or mood like that. Yeah. So that is a real renunciation. Sangatyaktva, without attachment of doership, that I am doing it, and without expecting any result. Phala, that is phalacha, means sangatyaktva, phalani cha, means result. Give your fruit to the Lord only, and do your duties as a matter of duty. So Krishna's opinion is that Tyagi and Sannyasi are essentially the same. There is no difference between these two orders of life, of renunciation. Life and renunciation of the fruits of earth, like that. They both are actually, both words are equally good to called as renunciation, like that. So if you read 7, 8, 9 tomorrow, you will understand more in those three modes how this renunciation, the tyaga in that mode of ignorance, tyaga in mode of goodness, passion. You understand there. Up till 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is all discussing that only. So you'll have more clarity if we further read on this one. So that's what it is for as of today's session. Anyone has any questions, concerns, or anything to add or share?
Mataji, nothing concerning this. Can you just give us just a little advice about Purushottam month, what we should not be doing?
Oh, in the
Just in a very
Purushottam month.
short, brief.
Yeah, Purushottam month is,
Yes,
you can, as I said before, you can do like extra chanting. You can minimize your bodily needs, like too much going out and eating, if at all you are going out, I don't know, but yeah, at home restrict to yourself eating Krishna. Yeah, restrict to yourself eating only Krishna prasad strictly. And some people do strictly eat only one time. It's up to their health condition, not compulsory, but better to chant in the morning. If we are not doing, at least in Purushottam month, do it in the morning. It comes only every 3 years. So morning in the Brahma Muhurta, please chant your rounds and make a habit of reading every day. Any scripture you have certain affection to get connected to Krishna, either Bhagavad Gita or Krishna book or Srimad Bhagavatam, take a vow that you want to finish this. Let's say Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instructions, small books are there. Take and read those books on a regular basis, and or you can recite some nice verses, learn some verses like Kunti prayers are there, Bhishma Stuti is there, their Gajendra prayers are there. You can learn, take a vow of learning those. Brahma Samhita is there, Shishtastakam is there. Maybe you can learn, and Purushottama, Chaurashtakam is there. Recite every day Chaurashtakam. It's very important. Reciting Chaurashtakam, understanding the verses of Chaurashtakam. You can put an extra effort in doing these things, apart from the regular participation of reading all this. So you can do. And special, extra rounds you can do. On Ekadashis, you can be more austere. like that, there is no end, but how much ever according to our capacity, we should, how we do on Ekadashi, on a regular Ekadashi, we want to do in this whole month. If you do as much as possible, that accumulation of that thing is unlimited. It's up to us how we want to do it. If someone is getting you $1 million, how we will work hard like that.
This Chaurashtakam we used to do, Mataji, once in 3 years, even last time. It's some verses, no? There are some verses.
Yeah, correct. Ashtakam, 8 verses.
Yeah.
Beautiful description of all Supreme Lord's form qualities and all that. Yeah. So it is good. We can memorize Chaurashtakam reciting every day if you are not actually aware of it or familiar with it. Because after 3 years we may forget. So refresh our memory.
I have about 2 or 3 verses. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. So anyone else has any question?
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah.
This Purushottam Masam is started, Mataji?
No, Prabhuji. It's Chaturmasa has started for us from yesterday, but Purushottam Math will start on, I think in India, 16, for us, 17.
17, no 17.
17? Okay.
17 for this month.
Yeah, that's what I...
Yeah. 17th of this month to the next month from, it will start, it will in between, it is in between of this first month of Chaturmasa it will come. So first 15 days is the first month of Chaturmasa, and then 1 month is the Adhik Masa, Purushottam month, and then the next 15 days is again continuation of the first month of Chaturmasa. Yeah.
Can you say once again, Mataji?
First 15 months, like from yesterday it started. So first 15 days of this month is, Chaturmasa of first month. 4 months is Chaturmasa, right? So first month of Chaturmasa started yesterday and it will go for 15 days. And then, Purushottam month starts from Amavasya, and then it will complete 1 month. After 1 month, then another 15 days, the first month of Chaturmasa will come. Yeah.
I'll put it in the group, Mataji. I have that.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay, all good, Matajis and Prabhujis. So we'll take leave, and thank you for reading together today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
pranams.
Krishna,
Thank you.
Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, with your permission, I'm just ending this meeting, Mataji. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you so much.